Hey guys, it's Mr. Green here. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be giving you an unboxing of the Gorgon's Tarot by Dolores Fitchie. So I was in a metaphysical bookstore and I found this deck, and I've never seen this deck. I've never heard of this deck. The people in the store, I was asking about it. I was asking, like, is it popular? Even the person that rung me up, the cashier, had actually never seen the deck. He was unaware that the shop actually orders the deck. And when I was asking about it, I can't get this open. The shop actually said that they only order one deck at a time. And then they wait for that deck to sell, and then they go ahead and they order another one. But that's probably why I've never seen it in there specifically, since they only order it one at a time. Okay. So we have I'm guessing it's Schiffer because of the box. Yep, it's a Schiffer deck. But here we go. And then you've got the pull tab, as always. Now, when I first saw this on the shelf, I was kind of turned off because I don't really like dark imagery. And I think at first glance, with the colors and everything, it looks dark. You really kind of have to look at it to realize it's a little bit sweet. But when I opened it, because they had a deck that was on display, I immediately fell in love because look at the cards. Look at the cards. There's circles. And I, for a very long time, have been looking for a tarot card deck that was round. I don't like the Mother Piece deck. There's another deck, some type of fairy life deck that's yellow. Don't really like that one either. And so I was like, I'm just going to have to wait until I find a deck that's round that I like. And I found a round tarot deck, guys. So just really quick. I read quickly about why she made this deck. She said it has tongue-in-cheek humor. It is also engaging and fun to read. It also has an extra deck that is supposed to be used as the wild card, and that extra card, not an extra deck, the extra card, and that extra card is called the Blind Gorgon. So this deck is a feminine deck with a mostly female cast, it says. There are animal companions, commentators, bodyguards, and familiars, and a mixed bag of traditional and not so traditional imagery. So let's just jump right in because I'm excited, and I haven't opened this box, and I've had this box for a week and I haven't opened it because I've been waiting to do this video, so I'm not going to even skip formalities. Let's just go straight to it. So we've got the Blind Gorgon. Now, this is the card that she says is supposed to be the wild card. It can also be used as the significator, so if you or the clairant this could represent yourself or the clairant, you just put this one down first and then read the cards around it. And I suppose that how you want to use a Blind Gorgon is up for interpretation. I'm sure there's an entire... Oh, wait, the book is tiny. Here's the book, by the way, because I just wanted to quickly see what she meant by the Blind Gorgon. Right, it says, in a reading, this card may be warning you to think twice before embarking on a quest. Is that the way you want to go? Is it the right moment to go? Are you boat seaworthy up to the journey? And once you get there, will you be able to deal with the locals? Ignorance is never bliss, but knowledge at the wrong time can turn out to be a grand waste of time and energies. So I suppose that's something to think about. But this is the guidebook. It's little. Usually with Schiffer decks, the guidebook is an actual book, but not this time. I think a lot of this went into the cards, but I'm okay with that. So let's just... So this is the Blind Gorgon, up close and personal. And then the Fool. The Magician, the High Priestess, the Emperor. Now, I do actually really like how She does say it's mostly feminine. I do like in this deck how it is. The Emperor is a woman. The Hierophant is also a woman. So you see a lot of role reversals, which I think is pretty cool. I'm all up for all levels of representation. Anyone that has watched me rant will know this. Chariot. Try to get this glare off the cards. Okay, that's much better. Strength. Hermit. Now, these cards are pretty big, so I don't have the Mother Piece deck because I don't like that deck. But if anyone does have the Mother Piece deck, these cards, I would say, the Mother Piece will fit neatly in the middle. I'll show you the backs because there's a reason for this. So this, the circle right here, not the trimming on the edge, not the black trimming, but the circle right here, in my opinion, will probably is a little bit bigger than a Mother Piece tarot card. So that will give you some perspective on how big the actual card is themselves. These cards are pretty big. I love them. I think these cards are Instagram worthy. If you're doing a reading for yourself, they're also cool. But I don't know if we'll have to see if they will be sort of practical to give a reading for other people. Simply because they're big and they're round, so they don't fit in anything. Even big cards, you can find a tarot bag, to put it in. But for these cards are so big and round, I think that they would have had to come with their own sort of carry case. I just have to figure out a way to transport them. Ooh, wow, the Devil. I really like this one. Yeah, so I'm just going to have to figure out a way to transport them. So we'll see if these become practical to do actual client readings with. I do think, though, if you did readings for maybe like your friends with them or your family, that they would be, I guess, thrilled with the imagery. I find that so far with looking at these, there's so much that's sort of happening in the picture itself. There's like a story being told that I feel like you have to use them for quite a while and use them again and again and again. And only until you've seen one card about 20 times pop up, you'll probably be able to catch a different detail. But I think that's what makes these cards fun. Now you can definitely see that there is traditional imagery here. And but a lot of this seems like it can be up for interpretation, that this can also be used as a very intuitive deck, because it is, in my opinion, the farthest from traditional. And I also feel like, for me, this deck is more a collector's item. The publishing price for this deck is actually pretty expensive. I believe it's I threw the wrapper away. It's like $45. And typically, actually not typically, always, I'm not one to be willing to spend $45 on a deck, unless it's an indie deck and maybe it's limited in print, and I know it's going into the collection, but mass-produced decks I don't really do that with. But for some reason, this one I thought it has to be added to the collection. If I'm honest, I don't really know how much I'll use it. It seems like one of those things that, for me anyway, I'll take it out every once in a while and I'll play with it. And maybe I'll show some of my other friends, oh my gosh, look what I got. But, like I said, I can't see myself really sort of committing to it and it becoming like a home deck, just because I don't necessarily see the practicality of it. The cards are big. I mean, look. It covers my face. You see this? And I have a big face. And I don't see it being easy to transport. Now, the card stock it's a good card stock. It's not too thin, not too thick, nice and bendy, not too sticky, not too glossy. But because of the size of the deck, when you hold the deck itself, the deck is heavy. And so it's not one of those things that I would just want to throw in my bag before I left for the day, and keep in my purse. Not like a Rider-Waite deck or something like that, because it isn't standard. But when I build my sort of bookcase Narnia wardrobe for all of my stuff because I have a vision and one day it's going to happen. I feel like this is going to be in the forefront of everything that I have. So we've got the King of Wands here, the Last of the Wands, and it goes into the Swords. And then we got the Two of Swords. I do like the Two of Swords. Now I'm thinking, there's a lot going on in the background, but for some reason this kind of reminds me of the pyramids. Now I'm not entirely sure as to what it was originally meant to be. I'm gonna have to read up on it, but I have a feeling that that has a lot to do with why I say it's up for interpretation, just because what I see, and maybe it reminds me of the pyramids, it's not going to be what somebody else sees. It's going to be a different trigger for someone else, which is why I do think that this deck is really intuitive. And I do like this, the Four of Swords. You know, Four of Swords is usually known as like the meditation card. And I do like how she's literally meditating. You don't see a lot of decks where in the Four of Swords the person is literally meditating. She sat, there's a lotus and everything like that. I think that's really nice. And then she has the sun coming up. But like a lot of deities, the sun also looks like a halo for her. And this is how a lot of deities is also represented and different types of cultures and religions. So I think that was really cool. It's a really cool play. Five of Swords. Yeah, it's alright. And then the Six of Swords, I do think the imagery is beautiful. One good thing I will say is because the card is so big, you can fit a lot of detail into it. And I do enjoy that. I think that when it comes to storytelling and piecing your tarot cards together when you're looking at a situation, this will help you do that a lot more than a lot of other decks that I've seen. Eight of Swords. Now, she has a snake here on a sword that she's actually holding. And I think this is really cool because the idea with the Eight of Swords is that you've sort of boxed your own self in, and that if you chose to take off your own blindfolds, and then you have the power to remove your swords and step out of this cage that you've created for yourself. One thing I do like is that the sword that she holds onto has a snake on it, and a snake is also a symbol for knowledge. A lot of people look at it as being sort of evil or foreboding, but it's also a symbol for knowledge. So because it's also a symbol for knowledge, the idea is if she used the knowledge that she has and the fact that she is not stuck where she thinks that she's actually stuck, and that she does have the power to change her own situation and take herself out of the cage that she has put herself in, then she can go far. You know, she has flowers, so there's room for growth. She has a companion here, a guardian watching out for her. She also has a city that does mean that she is capable of reaching her goals should she choose to remove herself from the cage that she put herself in. So I think, like I was saying before, these cards have a lot of room for interpretation, and they also give you the ability to build stories around. Because one thing I've noticed when using different cards is when you're dealing with the client and you're trying to explain to them what's going on, the imagery on a card can be really, really useful. Some cards don't have a lot of imagery, so when you're talking to them and they can't see, sometimes you need like a picture book to help guide them through what it is that you're doing, because some people don't care, they just want to know the answer. They think, they go, oh great, you're gifted, just tell me what I need to know. Some people want to know how you reach the conclusion you've reached. They want to know how you got there, and they want to see the steps. And if you have a really good deck that has really good imagery, you can sort of walk them through what it is that you're talking about, and walk them through the life lessons and the story and maybe some of their patterns that they need to break, all through pointing to different images on the card. And I think that this would be really helpful in doing that. And then you've got your page. I do like this page, which is interesting because I feel like, in my opinion, I've always felt the pages were the most boring card in all the suits. Never really liked the pages. I mean, I get they have their purpose, but never really fired me up. Got the Queen. And you've got the King. Okay, now we got our cups. Your 2 of Cups. 3 of Cups. 4 of Cups. I do like this one. The 5 of Cups. Now this one is very traditional. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. This to me looks like a we of the world type of pose. Then your courts, your page, your knight, your queen, and your king. And then last but not least, you've got your pentacles, your ace. Ooh, I love this one. I love the 2 of Pentacles. I'm gonna tell you why. Most 2 of Pentacles depict a guy sort of struggling to maintain a level of control, integrity, whatever it is that they're going through. But it's always a struggle, and I like the idea that the balance doesn't have to be a struggle. The way she's sitting in the lotus, she's centered, she's balanced, she's in harmony with herself, and she isn't struggling at all. So this shows you what your balance should look like and what is attainable. I think the 2 of Pentacles, in my opinion, has always been a little bit pessimistic. Because everyone always has a lot of things going on, and you don't necessarily always have to be at your wit's end when dealing with everything. And so I think that this shows a very sort of attainable goal that everyone should strive for when maybe they feel like they have a little bit too much on their plate. I really like this. It's very positive. You've got your 3 of Pentacles, your 4 of Pentacles, your 5 of Pentacles, and I like how it has that Venus symbol right there. Your 6, your 7, your 8, your 9, and these cards are so big. Every time I try to look at myself, I can't because they cover my face, which is a tad annoying. Well, that's okay. Your 10. This is nice. Your 10. And then you've got your page, your knight, your queen, and your king in all of her glory. How awesome is that? So yeah, guys, that is the Gorgon's Tarot. by Dolores Fitchie. Now, the publishing price is $45, but I have seen them on cheaper websites, eBay, even Wordery, where you can get it for maybe like $33, $35. So if you don't want to pay the $45, there are other alternatives. You just have to hunt around on the internet for a little bit, and they do have them. But as always, guys, if you like what you see, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys soon.